Warzone killed Call of Duty.
Warzone killed Call of Duty.
Let's see it.
Okay, so this one is a classic. Let me tell you, it's a classic for a reason. In case you don't remember, Warzone was a really big deal for Call of Duty. Like, it kind of changed everything. It was the very first time that Call of Duty dipped their toes into the free-to-play water. And also something that I think people tend to forget was the timing of Warzone's launch. Warzone was released as...
Warzone came out at the perfect time with COVID. It was perfect. It couldn't have been any better timing for a pandemic. It made Warzone great. It really did.
As a free-to-play mode for Modern Warfare 2019 in March of 2020, which you probably remember is around the same time that lots of schools and businesses and pretty much the entire world started going remote. So basically, you had the perfect storm brewing. You had a free-to-play Call of Duty Battle Royale coming out at a time when everybody was stuck at home and looking for things to do. And Warzone is just so easy to pick up. I think you had a lot of those people who were stuck at home, not necessarily gamers, but got into it anyway for lack of anything else to do. Also, I think Warzone really scratched that itch of the Fortnite holdouts, like the people who didn't want to get into Fortnite because they didn't want to identify as somebody who plays Fortnite because it kind of seems like a kid's game.
Fortnite does have one of those things, right, where if you admit that you play it, everyone's kind of like, ew, this guy plays Fortnite. I don't play it just simply because I don't like the game. I just, like, there's something about it. It almost took, like, the PUBG route for me, where it's like, all right, there's too much shit on the ground. There's too many things, too many items. I have to learn what all these things do. Vehicles, robots, you know, and I just don't feel like learning all that, you know? And I love PUBG, but, like, the weapons on the ground, like, they're all new to me. There's so many things on the ground now. I don't know. So, I just don't play Fortnite because I just don't like it. Warzone was simple. And I guess Warzone went down the same path, too, with, like, different contracts, different things you could pick up. But I still think it stayed a little bit more simpler than PUBG or Fortnite did.
Or something like that. And then
the maps that came out later were just really bad.
Alternative. So Warzone was really successful, and honestly, it took Call of Duty to heights that I don't think it had ever reached before. It was massive. And you could tell that because it was so successful, Activision really wanted to capitalize on it. And this is where it kind of starts to become a negative thing, in my opinion. Because when Modern Warfare 2019 first came out, I really wasn't liking it. And coming off of Black Ops 4, which I really loved and I played pretty much every single day, I was very disappointed with Modern Warfare 2019. I
think Blackout was the best battle royale we've had. Over Apex, over Fortnite, over PUBG. I think Blackout was really good. I had a lot of fun playing Blackout.
That it was slow, the maps were awkward, it was like there was so much focus on realism, and that's just not really my thing. So I had pretty much stopped playing at the time, and then Warzone came out and it kind of like refreshed my love for the game. I was getting on to play Warzone with my friends pretty much every single night. It gave me like a new perspective on Modern Warfare 2019. I started to actually appreciate it in ways that I didn't before. But then you had the two Call of Duty games that came out after Modern Warfare 2019, that being Black Ops Cold War in 2020 and Vanguard in 2021. Both of these games were clearly centered around capitalizing on the Warzone craze. And after all the dust had...
Cold War sucked. Vanguard was worse, in my opinion. They were so bad. Like, multiplayers as well. I don't know. Maybe everyone has a different opinion on me than that, but I thought Cold War was bad, Vanguard was worse. I think that time period has just been so overdone. The weapons aren't exciting for me, you know, aside from, like, the classics. But I just thought the games were bad. They're boring. And then you get into the Warzone side of it, and the maps were bad. I mean, you know, Cold War and like, Warzone, or 2019, kind of had, like, their little mesh for a while. But once, what's the dang Caldera? Once Caldera came out, I was toast, and I've never enjoyed Warzone the same.
Settled. I
just haven't.
Didn't really think that Warzone was all that great. I think the loadout system was a lot of fun at first, but eventually it kind of just makes the game much more repetitive than other battle royales, at least. And also, I don't think that the post-launch support for the game was anywhere near as good as it needed to be. Like, if you compare it to games like Fortnite and Apex Legends, which kind of constantly are injecting new fun things into the game, Warzone just wasn't really doing that. So the gameplay didn't feel fun. There weren't any substantial updates coming out.
Does anybody remember when they did Krampus? on I think that was on Caldera, and Krampus would just spawn and make the most obnoxious noises ever, and you had to put so many rounds into Krampus for him to go down. Like, that's not a fun event. It was an awful event, actually. Stuff like that just made me not want to play. I was like, this is so like, who did no one test this? It's awful. I hated the Christmas event.
I was pretty much over it. And I just wanted to go back to the Call of Duty that I know and love, which is that traditional 6v6 fast-paced multiplayer. And we did get some of that in the following years, but you can tell that a lot of the developmental focus was around Warzone, so it kind of felt like an afterthought. So all of this is to say that I think that is what comments like this one are getting at. Like, Warzone came out and it was so successful that they pretty much had no choice but to make it like their one golden child.
I know everyone says they want like a fast-paced 6v6. I don't think people do. I know I sound like that Blizzard thing where it's like you think that's what you want, but it's not. But like, look at X Defiant. You know, it came out, and I don't think it has that many players as it did. Like, it kind of just came out, everyone played it, and then it fell off. I haven't checked the player count on it, but I don't hear anything about it. It's definitely not mainstream, that's for sure.
That they clearly care about more than the other thing. It's like that one meme where someone's in like the water and they're
because
like,
that was the game that was supposed to like kill Call of Duty or whatever.
I'll put it on the screen. Exactly. This is the one I'm talking about. So the way I look at it, yes, Warzone did kind of kill traditional Call of Duty, but like I said, the game mode brought the franchise to shocking new heights. So it obviously didn't kill Call of Duty, but it did change it forever. Last thing, I did want to say that I don't know if it's just me kind of in my own personal bubble in the internet, but I've been seeing less and less excitement out there regarding Warzone. And I think we're seeing more of that developmental focus return back to traditional Call of Duty stuff. Of course, Warzone was always going to be there, but
I think it's because Warzone's so bad.
Kill traditional COD. But thank you for leaving that comment. I do appreciate it. And that is the perfect segue into explaining what is going on here. So any OGs to this channel will remember I did a few videos last year kind of experimenting with a format where I would collect some hot takes, do some responses, and put them all together for a video. I know it sounds corny, but I genuinely do like hearing what you guys have to say and then opening up a
I love hearing
conversation
people's
like you did in those
opinions.
videos. And also that
I think
type of
people have
thing
like
is
really good
exactly
takes, to be
what
honest.
I watch on my own time, so it just feels natural to be making videos like that. So I'm trying to get in the habit of making more of those videos, and that's what this is. Only this time, I finally have a name for the series, which I was struggling to do so much last year. So without further ado, welcome to the very first official episode
What did we name it?
Between the Lines, where you
Okay.
give me your hot takes, however good, however bad, and I break them down for your entertainment. Hopefully. For this episode, I asked you guys
This is a
for
good
your
idea.
worst Call of Duty opinions over on my TikTok, so that's what we're going to be doing today. In the future, I'd like to get responses over on Threads, since that's just easier and more direct. So if you want to be in the next episode, you
Wait,
can follow me
Threads?
over there. I'll put the link in the description. But enough with all the boring stuff. Let's get back to the show.
People use
Battle
Threads?
Passes ruined Call of Duty. If I had a nickel for every time that someone said X thing killed Call of Duty, I would have enough money to buy it myself and fix all of those problems. Okay, so I do have kind of a hot take for you here. Take a deep breath. This is going to be really hard for some people to hear. Please don't be too mad at me, but
I don't think I have a bigger issue with like $40 weapon skins than I do with a $10 battle pass. I think the weapon skins, again, they're like $30, $40. I think Valorant has to be the worst one at it. You go in there and some of the bundles are like $70. You know, and I get it, the game's free, you have to fund it, but like there is no way the weapons, they're just not worth that much. You know, I think if you like half the price, you would more than double the sales. Asking someone to chalk up $70, especially in today's economy, inflation, that's a big ask. That's a really big ask. But if you ask somebody like, hey, can you chalk up $20? Okay, yeah, I can. I got 20 extra bucks laying around. You know, I'd be more inclined. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I think weapon skins are way worse than battle passes. As long as the battle passes remain like cosmetic only.
I don't hate battle passes. Whew, feels good to get that off my chest.
I don't
think
either.
As long as the battle pass rewards don't give you any type of gameplay advantage, which is to say that they are completely and totally cosmetic, and also the game itself is free to play, or at least on the cheaper side, then no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I kind of like it. I like having just that little extra reason to hop on and play something outside of the base fun of the game anyway. Like, for example, I think the best battle pass that you can get in all of gaming is still Fortnite, the one that started it all. The Fortnite Battle Pass has only cosmetic items, and they're high quality cosmetics. I know that it's kind of just a matter of personal taste, but I think that
What's going on with the Apex Battle Pass now? It's like 2 battle passes, and each one is like doubled in price or something like that. I might be misspeaking, but like that's a bad battle pass. You're moving in the wrong direction. That's not good. You know, I think $10 is a fair price for a battle pass. And I think it makes people way more inclined to hop on and play your game, and it's not a big ask for $10, as long as the stuff in there is pretty decent. I think actually Valorant has some of the most boring battle passes. I keep talking about Valorant. I don't like their battle passes very much, like at all.
For the original characters and also for the crossovers that they do, which believe me,
there's a riot shield in Fortnite now.
For a game like Fortnite, I feel like it kind of fits to have all these.
I'm so glad I'm not playing.
Whatever running around. I'm getting a little distracted. Back to the point. The Battle Pass is great. Apart from all that stuff that I just mentioned, there's also a challenge system where they have weekly challenges that help you progress the Battle Pass faster. They got bonus styles you can work toward after getting all 100 tiers. There's usually like a whole secret section that will come out at some point in the middle of the season. The point is, the Battle Pass is like a whole experience, and in my opinion, it's a great value. So moving back to Call of Duty, I do think that the Call of Duty Battle Pass is abysmal. The cosmetics are bland and
really bad.
I mean, I don't think there's ever been a single time in the history of Call of Duty Battle Passes where I looked at a skin and thought, oh my gosh, I really got to get on this season and grind a ton so that I can unlock this skin. They have new weapons, which are gameplay altering items that are found within the Battle Pass, which means that yes, technically this could be pay to win. Like if any of these weapons from within the Battle Pass were really good, clearly better than everything else in the game, which by the way,
I never understood the putting the brand new weapons in the Battle Pass. Like I was honestly thinking about playing yesterday, but then I remember there's going to be so many new weapons, a bunch of different attachments. I have to level those weapons up in order for them to be even viable. They're probably in battle passes, or I'm going to have to do some challenges. Like there's so many barriers. What is it, like barriers to entry for me to just hop on and enjoy Warzone now? You know, like gotta level everything up, get the attachments, figure out which is meta, which isn't. And I was like, I just don't feel like doing that, so I just didn't play. Straight up.
Happen in Modern Warfare 2019 a ton. Then you could buy the Battle Pass tiers to have access to those weapons immediately, and all the free-to-play players would have to wait and grind the Battle
Moore
Pass
sniper. What's the Moore sniper?
Advanced Warfare. Reminds me, the progression on these Battle Passes is painfully slow. Like I need you to understand, I play a ton of Call of Duty. If you look at my main channel, every year I put out like an hour-long video about the most recent Call of Duty, going into excruciating painful detail. I play pretty much every day, and honestly, I'm not even sure if I've ever finished a battle pass. I mean, I probably have once or twice, I'm guessing. I mean, like, I must have, but I know for a fact that most of the time I don't. I feel like I usually get to like maybe like tier 70 to 80, but the progression is just so slow that getting to that 100 feels nearly impossible. So what I'm trying to say here is that no, I don't think that battle passes are inherently bad. And I know there's lots of broader discussion out there. People say that.
You know what I think is, I just had this like thought about like what I think has damaged Call of Duty, not even Call of Duty, but like the 6v6 genre the most is ranked play. In almost every game there's ranked, and I think everyone has this mentality, at least I do. I won't say everyone, I'll speak for myself here. I have this mentality of when I go down to, or when I sit down to play 6v6, like team deathmatch, whatever, I feel like I have to crack out every single time. And I think that's just because I'm so used to playing ranked and everything, and there being such high stakes with wins and losses, that 6v6 back in the day used to be just chilling in the lobby with the boys, you know, you're playing, it was fun, there wasn't really anything like on the line. I feel like now everybody's just, dude, it's try hard central in every single lobby that you play. It's insane. And at least that's from my perspective. I don't know. Maybe, again, all these takes, I could be completely off, and please let me know if I am, but they're just my personal opinions, so.
Battle passes ruined gaming in general. I just don't agree with that. I feel like it comes down to the specific implementation of the Battle Pass. Fortnite is an example of how a Battle Pass can be fair and fun and even elevate a free-to-play game in some way. I mean, they gotta fund the development of future seasons somehow, so it's kind of a necessary evil that something like that exists. And keeping that in mind, like I said, I feel like what Fortnite does is a pretty good solution. The Call of Duty Battle Pass, on the other hand, is an example of one that is lazy and greedy and really not worth your time. And it's also arguably pay to win. Also, I can't believe I forgot to mention this up until now, but Call of Duty is not a free-to-play game, which means you're paying full price for access to the game, and then you're paying another $10 on top of that for each season. And that's just if you buy like the cheapest version of the Battle Pass, because they've got like 20 different ways that they try to upsell you now. So the Call of Duty Battle Pass,
it almost feels like a mobile game when I log on to play Call of Duty. Well, I haven't in like a year, but it did, like all these pop-ups for different things and different bundles, you know, and you're just like clicking out of them. It was obnoxious.
Is bad. It's very bad. Did it ruin Call of Duty? I mean, for me personally, I can still hop on and have fun even with the existence of the Battle Pass in the game. But I do think that overall, it's a net negative on the game. Zombies peaked with Black Ops 3. Okay, so
I'm not a big zombies player, so I don't have much input here.
I'm completely kidding. Who could disagree with this? I mean, Black Ops 3 is obviously the best zombies offering that we've ever gotten. But also, there is just one tiny little thing that I want to add.
Which one was Black Ops 3? Was that the one with the bus? I'm trying to remember which one was Black Ops 3 Zombies. I can't even remember. I know Kino der Toten, there's like the bus one. There's the one where like the floor was lava or whatever and you're like a diner and stuff. I don't remember which one's which.
One thing that you should probably know about me, before Call of Duty World at War, which was the first CoD to have a zombies side mode, I did not play Call of Duty. I was more of a
Black Ops 3 Zombies was mid to you?
It wasn't until I heard about that zombies mode that I actually decided to give it a shot. I ended up loving it. Me and my friends played the crap out of that initial version of Zombies. We played all of the DLC maps. Loved every second of it. So my claim to fame is that, yes, I am a Zombies OG. And the thing I wanted to say is that back in those days, in the earliest days of Zombies, the game had a sense of claustrophobia and like real fear that I just don't think exists in Black Ops 3 Zombies, much less in the Zombies iterations that have come after that one too. Like if you look at the map design specifically, the older Zombies maps were way more restrictive. Moving around those maps in the middle of a round when zombies were actively spawning in was terrifying because you never knew when you were gonna get blocked into a hallway or you weren't going to be able to squeeze by a certain zombie. It added so much tension to the game that personally I loved. The Black Ops 3 maps by comparison are much more open and you don't really have that fear as you're running around the map, except for maybe in like one or two places. But generally you have lots of space to run around in circles, you know, you can juke out zombies, you can weave in and out. And I don't know, sometimes I miss that more harsh map design from the early days. But again, I'm not trying to be too negative here because who could dispute this comment? I mean, by the sheer offering of maps alone, Black Ops 3 is definitely the best Zombies. You've got great new maps like Der Eisendrache, and then on top of that, you have Zombies Chronicles, which contains all of the classic maps from all the Zombies games leading up to that. I mean, it's unbeatable. Advanced Warfare is a good game. You know what?
No. Absolutely not. No. Terrible. Hated it. Could be one of the worst for me. Did not like it.
I'm gonna agree with you and do you one better. Advanced Warfare is a great game. In fact, way back in the day, I did an entire video about why I think Advanced Warfare is the most underrated Call of Duty ever. Again, I'll leave a link to it in the description below, but beware, it's one of the very first video essays I ever made, so it's a little rough around the edges, but the ideas inside of it are still good. I think in the Call of Duty community, we have a tendency to kind of skip over the advanced movement era games. Like they're this ugly stain on the franchise that we all just want to ignore.
No.
It's like the We Don't Talk About Bruno song, except for we don't talk.
Okay, I'm gonna walk my statement back a little bit. I think if Advanced Warfare released now, it would do better than it did back then. I think people would be more open to it now because I think just like the fast movement, the different mechanics. Maybe I was just too young and too slow and too bad that I didn't enjoy it. But I don't know. So maybe if like Advanced Warfare released today, it'd be a little bit different. But back then, I did not like it. I was not a fan.
Talk about the advanced movement games. And even though Advanced Warfare belongs
I remember
in that
this map
category
specifically
of advanced movement Call of Duties, I think it deserves way more respect than it gets. I mean, for starters, this was a huge innovation for the Call of Duty franchise. Nowadays, you see lots of people complaining about how every Call of Duty is basically the same. Advanced Warfare was quite possibly the biggest shakeup we'd ever seen in
It was,
franchise,
and I don't think we were ready for
all
it.
the way into that futuristic setting.
I wasn't.
Us advanced movement, advanced weaponry, which like we were getting all sorts of new weapon types. The map design, because of the new movement, had to introduce an insane amount of verticality, which we had never seen in Call of Duty before. And in my opinion, it was just exciting to be in a brand new science fiction Call of Duty universe. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Black Ops. I have mixed feelings about Modern Warfare, but I do get a little tired of just bouncing between the two games. And yes,
Yeah,
before
that's
Advanced
true.
Warfare, we did get Ghosts, which was also a new universe, but still, to me, that one felt pretty similar to Modern Warfare. So it wasn't until Advanced Warfare that we got something that felt truly 100% completely new and unique. The campaign was great, the multiplayer was great, we got Exo Zombies, which is like, I don't know, it's kind of like hit or miss, but still, the whole package altogether was so awesome. I really feel
I don't
like
remember
there
this
is
map at
some
all.
universe where this did become Sledgehammer's flagship Call of Duty franchise. And I really hope that one day we do get more Advanced Warfare somehow. Like maybe they do a remake, or fingers crossed, Sledgehammer will actually do Advanced Warfare 2. So thank you for this comment. I think that's my favorite one so far. Treyarch is the
a good
best
one.
Call of Duty developer, and Infinity Ward is the worst. So for the uninitiated or anyone who might be new to the franchise, there are 3 development studios that are working on Call of Duty at any given time. The 3 of them have their own games that they work on, and every year, one of them releases their latest game. This
I don't
is
know how I would rate
Activision
'em.
manages to release a new Call of Duty game every single year, while also giving these studios about 3 years to make them. Infinity Ward makes the Modern Warfare games, Treyarch makes the Black Ops games, and Sledgehammer doesn't really have a flagship franchise like we just mentioned, but they did Advanced Warfare, they did Vanguard, they did the Modern Warfare 3, 2, which is to say Modern Warfare 3 from 2023, you know the one. And I wholeheartedly agree that Treyarch is the best Call of Duty developer. I just feel like all around they make the best games. They have the best campaigns with the best stories.
Maybe.
Their multiplayer is always more arcadey, it's more fast and fluid, and of course zombies, which you already know I love. I can honestly say that I have never been disappointed by a Black Ops game. Cold War was a little iffy, but I still ended up enjoying my time with it. Infinity Ward, on the other hand, used to be the premier Call of Duty
They were the
developer.
goats,
I
dude.
remember when Call of Duty was really all about Modern Warfare. And Modern Warfare, of course, is their baby. But with the Modern Warfare reboots starting in 2019, I think they slowly drained away all of the goodwill that they built up from the original Modern Warfare trilogy.
I think Infinity Ward started to feel like they were like cheating you. I don't know. I like the visuals of the Infinity Ward games. I like the weapon mechanics. You know, like the animations and stuff are all they're so crisp. I'll never forget 2019, dude, loading up for the first time or playing the beta or whatever it was, and seeing them grip the rifle and having like really good pistol animations, and the sounds were really good. It was just like, I think their map design has gotten really bad. I haven't been a fan of like I haven't been a fan of an Infinity Ward map in a while. I don't think they're that great. Maybe that's the part that's like missing out for me. It's like you have all these really cool, you know, audio and visuals and stuff like that, but then you're just playing on not so fun maps. You know? I think 2019 the maps were really bad. I remember Piccadilly was just awful. I didn't enjoy those maps at all, the multiplayer.
Especially with the new Modern Warfare 2022. At that point, a lot of the hype from the initial Warzone and reboot in 2019 had completely died down. I think a lot of the flaws in their gameplay philosophy had become really apparent, and they released Modern Warfare 2, which did not help. It actually doubled down on all of the stuff that I think people didn't like from Modern Warfare 2019. And IW was just so stubborn, like they were so set in their ways, they refused to change any of this. I'm talking things like removing all of the movement mechanics from the game.
Yeah.
Just like generally slow movement, like things like sliding, terribly slow, super useless. There was no reload canceling. The map design was pretty much just as bad as it was in Modern Warfare 2019, which is to say that it was really big, it was really dense, it was really awkward. Like, it didn't have that arcadey flow that Call of Duty maps usually do. And I understand that a lot of that stuff you can't really change after the fact, but I still think there could have been, I don't know, 1 or 2 things that they could have done to remedy all of these things that everybody hated about Modern Warfare 2. And I don't know if it was pride or something, but they really never rolled back any of those big pain points. So I also agree that Infinity Ward right now is my least favorite Call of Duty developer. I honestly don't even know if I'll be able to get excited.
I think another big problem I had with the maps was, I don't know, you can't walk out somewhere and clear all of your angles. You know, the second you step out to fight, you're getting shot from, you know, a 3-story building on your left, a head glitch on your low right, you know, somebody right in front of you. Oh, and there's like a guy camping behind a door, you know, and like there's just people everywhere. And so it didn't feel very good, like making loops around the map to kill. The respawns I feel like have gotten really bad. So the verticality is good, but also, like, I don't think there were many counters for it. Like, people could just sit in a window and ruin your game. And they're not even having the best game either. Like, they still could be negative, but it's just not enjoyable, you know?
For their next game.
To play against it.
Sledgehammer in that number 2 spot. Like I said, I think they're underrated. They did an amazing job with Advanced Warfare. They just kind of get dealt a bad hand from time to time. Call of Duty needs to go free to play. Little confession, I actually put this one in here. I kind of wanted to sneak this in here at the end of the video. Like we talked about earlier, right now, Call of Duty is monetized like it's a free-to-play game. But it's not. I mean, we're paying $70 every year.
My counter argument is that Warzone needs to be completely separated from, like, recent or, like, the newer Call of Duty titles that are coming out. I think because the weapon balancing within Warzone needs to be completely different than it does for multiplayer. The movement needs to be completely different. I think the map designs, you know, I think, well, I've been saying this for years. I think Warzone should just be its own individual entity that, sure, maybe you incorporate some, you know, World War II weapons, World War I, Black Ops, Advanced War, whatever. You can bring those weapons in, sure, but it just needs to be completely separated, because having a whole new, like, map whenever a Call of Duty comes out, and, like, new guns and everything, and, like, the rebalancing, and it's just not, to me, it's not enjoyable. I think they should just be completely separate. Let Warzone be free, let it be its own individual IP or entity or whatever, and then just keep working on, like, have a team just sitting there on Warzone, and then have a team that's, like, working on all the multiplayer and the maps and everything else like that. And they don't touch Warzone. Just don't let them touch it. You know, let Warzone and who was it, like, Raven Software was doing, like, all the weapon balancing or whatever. I've been so out of touch with Call of Duty for a while. I have no idea who's working on what now. I don't even care. But I do think that Warzone should be its own separate entity
to play this game. And then on top of that, they're doing the battle passes,
Mike,
they're doing the skins in the shop, and they're really trying to cram all that down your throat. So we're getting the worst of both worlds with Call of Duty right now. We're paying for a premium game, and then we're dealing with all of these little
or is it Miko
of a free-to-play game.
Hey,
Honestly,
is this Narte?
I just think it's time for Call of Duty to modernize a little bit. If you think about it, there is no other game out there that's doing this same model that Call of Duty is doing, where it's kind of a live service, but it's also definitely a premium game, but it's monetized like it's free to play, but there's also premium elements. And sure, it's
is this a sniper that DMG is talking about?
Games of any given year, Call of Duty is probably going to be number 1, even these more recent ones that are technically live services. But I don't know if that's going to be sustainable in the long term with all of its competition, like Fortnite or Valorant or Apex Legends, or, like, I don't know. I mean, all of those games are free to play, and they have a completely different model than Call of Duty does. Personally, I really like the way that Fortnite does its seasonal updates, where there's, you know, a big new season every 2 months, but also every year there's a new chapter, which is like a bigger, more substantial update, where the game gets, like, a brand new map. There will be graphical updates, new, like, base mechanics will be added to the game or changed or whatever. I've always felt like something like that would work really well for Call of Duty, because that's pretty much what they're doing now. They're just charging us $70 for it every year, and then we're also losing all of our unlocks and whatever from the year previous. So maybe Call of Duty does go free to play, and every year we get our new big update, kind of like how we're accustomed to. And of course, you'd still have to remove some things from the game to avoid bloat and that kind of thing. And also, it would be sad if you couldn't go back and play previous Call of Duty games like we can now. Because like with Fortnite, for example, you can't go back and play Chapter 2 or whatever. Once the new update happens, that old version is completely gone. So maybe that exact thing wouldn't work 100% for Call of Duty, but still it would be nice to have something like that. Because the way that they're doing it right now, it feels like they're taking advantage of you financially. And it's also a little sad that you don't get to continue earning things for your account year over year. Everything just gets wiped every time there's a new game. So yeah, I don't know exactly what would be the best way of going about it, but the comments are open if you have ideas. And that seems like a good place to end our first episode of Between the Lines. Thank you so much for watching.
I enjoyed this.
Far. I really want to get this series rolling, so if you have any feedback on how we can improve the format or anything like that, please let me know. Also, remember, you can follow me over on Threads if you want to be a part of the next episode. Thank you for watching, and stay gold.
Stay gold.
I will give you $5,000 if you work with me.
Stay gold. I really like his videos. I saw one of his videos a long time ago, and it made me really like him. Yeah, I've been subbed to him. I like his stuff. I don't follow him anywhere else. I don't think I've never seen any of his content anywhere else, but I really like his videos. So not Fade. What the hell? Sitch. I like his stuff, so make sure you go watch it.